Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, as promised, here's my reef tank update. I haven't torn it down yet because I'm currently looking for some other equipment, maybe an upgrade of some sort. Not quite sure yet what I'm going to do as far as that goes, but for right now I'm just letting everything stay in and grow. The corals, they seem perfectly fine. I mean, I know that my new frog spawn is really pissing everything off. One thing that you'll notice, and I'll just dive right into it, the carpet anemone has moved from its spot, and it's been there for about a year and a half. So that's a big change. It's moved over there. It hasn't gotten any smaller. It's just moved. And here you can see, remember the hole I was talking about where the foot went? Yeah, that's where it went. That's where the foot was in that big crevice, because that rock is extremely porous. And it's constantly like using chemical warfare. I'm pretty sure that's why my torches died. Hammer is doing absolutely ridiculous. Be able to frag it and make a lot of money off that. In person, it's way more, I guess you could say, pink and fluorescent. Well, it's pearlescent green because it's mostly pink, and then on the angles it becomes green, which is really cool. My Coraline has exploded. The power head is absolutely covered in it. All the way up the cables, it's growing on the back glass, it's growing on everything as is tradition. Cleanup crew's doing alright. There's the peppermint shrimp. Shrimps should be perfectly fine against velvet. They've got iodine in their bodies, and iodine helps to fight off diseases and parasites and all that stuff. So, and then there's my tube anemones. I'm not quite sure what's going on with them. The orange and purple one, I haven't seen them for 3 or 4 days now. They may just be molting, but they could potentially have died. And if you've noticed, you haven't seen anything swimming around. It's because the fish are dead, and that was basically unavoidable at that point. I've done a lot of research. I can do a little more if anyone's interested, but I'm pretty sure, and now I'm not going to bash any companies because that's not what I'm about, and that's not what I'm here for. But when I got my tang, I bought flakes, the seafood flakes, for it, and it never really took to them. So I tried one last time. I added the seafood flakes to the tank, and then a couple days later, that's when I noticed that everything was kind of starting to, sorry about the finger, everyone was kind of starting to get ill and not really looking so great. So essentially, off my research, I've heard that the velvet larva, or the eggs, can stay on the seafood flakes, and then when you add the seafood to the tank, that's when they incubate and hatch, and that's where you get velvet from. Now that, in my case, seems I'm pretty certain that's what happened, because I had the tang for a long time before I made that video, and then the clown I had for pretty much a year. So that clown didn't really show any signs of anything throughout that year, and then the tang that I had for a couple of months, it was perfectly fine in the tank as well. So pretty sure it was off the seafood. I don't think it could have been anything else. Very upsetting, of course, frustrating. So you just got to move on, and hopefully I'll learn from that. It's just too bad that the tang didn't eat the flakes, because that would have been awesome. It would have eaten the flakes and wouldn't have had to worry about the larva. But anyways, I'm going to do more research so I'm more prepared. Because it's not necessarily like ick where you can just, you know, fish die, you take them out, then you let the water, do a couple water changes and you let it clean out, and then restart again. With velvet, from what I've heard, you basically pull everything out, bleach it, vinegar and water, and soak the equipment and run the tank with just regular tap water in it, and of course not with the corals in it. But yeah, you just got to clean the whole thing, so that's a big job. So might as well upgrade while you're doing that, in my opinion. But hopefully you guys can bear to see my boring tank now that I don't really have very much of anything exciting. I don't know. I'm still proud of it per se. You know, it's a love of mine, and just got to keep going, basically. I'm sure in another 200 days something weird is going to happen, and I'll learn from that. So you're constantly learning. It's great, and hopefully by me making videos and you giving me pointers and us just having reef tanks, we can figure out, you know, what's going on and help each other out. That's what it's all about. Helping each other. So you take a look at this rock, and it's covered in coralline. I'm quite disappointed that I'm going to have to, you know, bleach my rocks and stuff like that, because the coralline is what, you know, like, despite the coral growth, the coralline is something that I've always loved. So, I don't know, it's my little thing. It's like my little obsession. So that's my reef tank update. There's not really much to say. The open brain coral looks amazing, and the tank's doing alright. The clown died at night when I was asleep, and of course it's totally missing in the morning, so I knew it had passed away, but I just didn't know where it was. I looked all over and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it in my filter, couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm thinking the saltwater fairies got it, but I know exactly where my clownfish went. All the hair algae bloomed. That's my clownfish. You can kind of see all the little spots that the hair algae has come back. And most of all, the collection cup from the protein skimmer. So that's the last of my clownfish right there. I'm going to just do this here, see how that works. There you go. So yes, that's sad, but that is biology, I guess. So anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully in a couple of days I'll have something amazing to look forward to. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it.